It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Forum here on Eagle Community Television. I'm Gary Shorman. The Forum's brought to you by Hayes Med. We broadcast the Forum every Monday afternoon. We record it here at our Dillon's location in Vine Street. It's a busy place here, so thanks for watching. Come by and see us if you get a chance. Our guest today is Nathan Marcucci, and he is new in Hayes, new in the fact of being our airport manager, our new airport manager at the Hayes Regional Airport. Nathan, good to have you on our program.
Thank you very much.
We were talking before our program about a little bit about your background. You traveled all over the country before you ended up at your last job in Traverse City, correct?
Just a little bit. I mean, my first job was actually in Arizona right out of college, and then I went to Traverse City. And, you know, while working in airports, this is my third job. So I've been a few places, but that's the meat of the matter right there.
Did you travel in Traverse City? What was your job there?
I was an airport operations supervisor.
What does that mean?
So basically, at a larger airport, you have, like here we have different sections. We only have, like at a larger airport, you have different sections. You have an operations section, you have maybe a maintenance section, and then you have somebody that oversees those persons. My job was to oversee the day-to-day operations of the airport, and also to basically outline the tasks for the maintenance crew for that day, and generally guide the airport in the direction that the airport operations manager and the airport director would want the airport to go. So mostly I took my direction from my airport operations manager and the airport director.
Now, one of the things about it, when you take a look at what the Hayes Airport is like compared to the other one, some of that experience is going to come in handy, obviously, but how did you end up thinking about Hayes, Kansas? Traverse City in Michigan's a long ways away. How did Hayes show up on your map?
So my family's all from the West Coast. My parents live in Washington. My wife's family lives in Utah. So, you know, it was kind of it was pretty much a no-brainer. I-70 to Salt Lake is not a hard sell. So it's pretty here, and it's you know, nothing against Michigan, but it's really pretty there. I love the way the spring is when the snow is just melting and the grass is popping up and the birds are just like pulling worms out of the grass. I love the summer and the fall especially when the leaves are changing color and that first snow, but you know, it took a lot of snow. It didn't take a lot of snow for me to decide that, you know, I wanted somewhere a lot closer to an Arizona style climate. So especially having moved from Arizona, that does make airport management that much more complicated as well. Coming to Hayes, I know there'll be several things that you have that you'll be looking at. We'll talk about those in a second. But one of the important things I know is actually the promotion of the airport. And there are some exciting things going on right now at the airport. Right. So one of the things that we're working on is on December 8th, I think it's December 8th, there's the basketball game against the Northwestern Oklahoma University, and we're going to be giving out some free tickets. SkyWest is giving us 4 free tickets to give away. And basically, it's going to be the halftime game, and I'm looking forward to that. So, you know, I think Hayes, the city of Hayes, should show up and, you know, work on a chance to get 4 plane tickets to Denver. The way it's going to work, though, is during halftime, I believe, from what I've been explained, there's going to be a basket about one end of the court and the basket at the other end of the court. And whoever gets closest to each basket will get, so the closest to the first basket will get 2 tickets, and then the other 2 tickets will be given away to the other person at the other end of the court.
Well, that's kind of fun because I know some people may be watching this after the program actually runs, but it is fun to see the airport out having that kind of promotion with SkyWest.
Right, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks like something that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, so.
What else? You know, there's some construction going on at the airport as well. What's that all about?
So part of the problem with our terminal is it was pre-9/11, and so because of that, we needed to expand our holding area. And the other thing we decided to do during that construction is to put bathrooms past the checkpoints. So I also work for Great Lakes in Prescott, Arizona, and I realized that bathrooms past the checkpoints are kind of an important thing, especially since once you pass the checkpoint, you can go back out, but you have to get rescreened. and that makes it a lot easier to not go back out to use the bathroom and get rescreened. And it's just a better convenience for our passengers, and it makes it a better traveling experience for those coming through Hayes.
You know, those of any of us that fly so much, you get into the waiting area, and as long as everything runs on fine, it works great.
Right.
But in the previous airline, there was not even a restroom on the airplane. The new airline with SkyWest and the connection has a restroom on airline as well, so it just makes it a much more comfortable situation.
And we want our passengers to be happy and comfortable, and we want them to have a good experience in Hayes. And I think this is one of the ways we can give them that experience. You know, I like Hayes a lot. It's a good place to have an airline. We have a small community. You know, the good thing about it is that when you go through the checkpoint, you don't have to come out and be rescreened. You go through Denver, and you have multiple connections throughout not just the United States, but throughout the world. When I was in the military, you know, most of the time we got sent through Denver just because, you know, there are many connections. If you miss one connection in Denver, there's the possibility to get another connection is quite easy. The other thing I like about Hayes is that we have a really good airline. SkyWest is a fairly reputable airline. I have a couple friends that work for SkyWest, and they seem to feel like they're treated well. I've worked with other regional airlines, and you know, the experiences are not all the same. So,
one of the things I know that's important, and we talked about this a little earlier about the essential air service process, and we have that for about another almost year and a half, close to 2 years. What do you do to keep that going past the 2-year window? How can you, as an airport manager, encourage that to continue on?
It's something that we're going to have to, I believe the way it works, and I'm not terribly familiar, so I'm going to tell you what I know, but I believe the way it works is that we're going to have to petition for air service again, and when the time comes up, and you know, it's whoever, so like for example, Great Bend has Seaport, or there's other airlines that serve essential air service, and basically the one that the Department of Transportation picks, that's the best bidder, is who we get, and I hope we continue to have SkyWest. I think we have a pretty good working relationship with them, and I'd like to continue to see that. So,
since you've been here, has the number of passengers continued to grow?
I think it has. Our highest, so I mean, I'm speaking from a numbers point of view only, specifically because this is my first time living in Hayes. But October had the highest, I think it was around 947 passengers. I can't quite exactly remember that number. However, it was the highest amount of recorded passengers in the city of Hayes' history. So I think that this month, and I'm really hoping so, that we'll hit 1,000. We won't hit our 10,000 enplanements because we had a loss of air service during, I think, the spring season. But I think next year we could possibly be at 10,000 enplanements. And 10,000 is a pretty big number for an airport this size, so specifically because that's where the FAA says, well, you know, we're going to kick some money towards you guys. And it's approximately $1 million. So it's nothing to, you know, for an airport the size of Hayes, it's nothing to laugh at.
No,
so.
and in fact, in your case, you're just getting started at this. You started your first day on the job was when?
November 3rd.
Yeah, so you're just getting started, and there is a big learning curve. We're going to take a break and come back. I have 3 questions to ask you when we come back. First off, what surprised you about Hayes when you got here? Second question is maybe what you see as future for the Hayes Airport. And the last one is snow. What do we do with all the snow at the airport? So we'll be back and talk more about the Hayes Regional Airport after this.
Youthful body, tight tummy, smooth facial lines. Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery is here to help you achieve your goals and give yourself the new look you've always wanted. Greystone offers sophisticated surgical and non-surgical cosmetic procedures. With services now available locally, there's no need to wait any longer. Contact Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery at Hayes Medical Center today or online at greystonecosmetic.hayesmed.com.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet. clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.
Welcome back to the second half of our program here on Eagle Community Television. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. If you have any questions or comment, in fact, I had a gentleman walk up to me the other night and say, "Hey, Gary, here's a great idea. I like that. Let me know if you have a program, a suggestion, an idea. You can talk to me in person, or you can find me at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. We'd like to hear from you." Our guest is Nathan Marcucci, and he is the new airport manager at the Hayes Regional Airport. And Nathan, we went into the break talking about you coming to Hayes because you came, your first day on the job was November 3rd. What surprises did you have when you walked or came into Hayes for you and your family? Because you have a young daughter and a wife.
I like movies a lot, and it surprised me that Paper Moon was filmed here, and I'm really looking forward to watching that again, actually.
Didn't see that, yeah?
Yeah, and you know, just the downtown district, it has potential, and I think that there's a lot that can be done with it, and I don't know, it's just a beautiful small town, a small Midwestern town that I'm looking forward to being a part of. So.
Well, it is good to have you here. Second question, what do you have in store for us at the airport? What ideas do you have?
So I keep, so ID Creech is my public works director, he's my boss, and I'd like to see a restaurant one day. You know, I think I want community involvement. I like having community involvement. And getting people out to the airport to see planes, you know, just even if they're eating their food, it's a good thing. It's a good experience. I love airplanes ever since I was a kid. I've always wanted to have something to do with airplanes, and I want other people to feel that same passion that I do.
Well, it is a fun passion. You and I are both pilots, and so we'll have to get out there and try that, our hand at that someday and do that as well. But there's another side to the airport, you know, in the future, that's the local business. That much like Eagle, where we have locations around that we fly in and out, there's another part of the business other than the commercial airline side.
Okay.
What do you do to grow the other side for the private airline side of things?
Well, you were actually talking about, what surprised me. One of the things that surprised me is that we have an aircraft manufacturer. You know, we always, in Kansas, we're lucky to have companies like Cessna and Beechcraft, who actually merged and became Textron. But we're lucky to have, you know, a lot of aircraft manufacturing. What surprised me about the airport was that it has an aircraft manufacturer that, you know, while not as big as Cessna or Beechcraft, that, you know, Rand's aircraft is something that I think is an asset to the community. So we have Hayes Aircraft, which is a local fixed-based operator. A fixed-based operator basically sells fuel and services to pilots. And in this case, they have charter services, and they fly doctors out to places that need, you know, healthcare that don't necessarily have it. I think that's an asset. I think we need to look at those kind of assets and see what we can do with them. I'd like to see NetJets, FlexJet, you know, the major corporate, fleets, you know, the fractional shares come in here a lot more. The thing I think we can do is to put our best foot forward and just, you know, say, hey, here we go. I like working with a CVB. Janet Kuhn is one of my biggest allies, I think, and she's very knowledgeable about the airport. And one of the things I've been working on is the Facebook page. I'm trying to keep it current. You know, I suggest if you have a chance to go check out Fly Hayes on Facebook, and also our other local businesses. You know, I don't know, I just want people to know that this place can be profitable. It is a good airport. It is a big community asset. Without the airport, we wouldn't have these businesses, and you know, the airport is an economic generator.
You know, you also got in, and you in the past couple of years, the runway has been rebuilt, so
right.
Have a beautiful facility out there for pilots to be able to not only learn to fly, but then fly for their business in places that the major airlines don't go.
Right. I think a lot of people think that aviation is generally for pleasure, but on the back end, a lot of people, whether they're working for somebody or not, they fly for business. My wife is an engineer, and I've known pilots that work for her company to fly places because it takes less time and it's cheaper for the company. In that way, it's promoting business, it's promoting the bottom line of her company. you know, we don't always look at aviation, I think, the way that it could be. And I think that's where we got to do our best to put our best face forward. And I think that this is possible. Hayes is a very, there's a lot of communities that don't support aviation. I think Hayes does a very good job of supporting aviation. I really like that a lot.
Last question, I don't know what you're going to do the first. Now, you're from Michigan, or been in Michigan most recently, and so you know what snow is like.
Yes.
You know, we've seen recently some of those huge 5-foot snows. Now, typically that doesn't happen in Kansas because the snow is blowing about, 30 mile an hour to the south. But what do you do when the weather gets bad? Ice and all that. How do you keep the runways clear for the airlines to get in and out?
So right now it's kind of, I don't know how else to say this, but the airlines have different tolerances, and then, so the FAA has like recommended guidelines, and our airline SkyWest has different guidelines. So you kind of got to decide where do you put your snow, where do you start plowing at what depth do you start plowing at, and that's something that as an airport manager, I'm going to make that decision with my maintenance person. His name's Rick Hines. He's a very good person. He's got a lot of experience here, and I like working with him a lot. And you know, sometimes it's going to work out, and sometimes it's not going to. It's, you know, we don't have the equipment that I think that we need. One of my goals here, it's not going to happen for quite a bit because it takes a little bit to get the funding for it. But I think, you know, if we got an airport sweeper, then that decision would be a lot less. Airport sweepers do a lot of, instead of plowing and creating ice, because sometimes when you plow, you create ice and you leave it behind you. Yep. A sweeper will sweep that dry snow off, and it'll decrease the chances of icing. So that's one of the things I'd like to do. But in the meantime, I got to just do my best with the equipment that I have, and the knowledge that I have. So. And
do you have enough equipment to keep it all clean now, or is that something the county, I believe, helps with as well, the city,
well,
right?
the city helps out. And the last snowstorm, we got there early enough. It wasn't that big of a snowstorm, but it was enough to drift and pile, and enough to actually just to make the decision to actually plow. Thankfully, they're called mu numbers. They're values based on a percentage, and anything below 40 is something that a pilot will consider as not as good. But thankfully, our numbers, those percentage numbers were above 40, and you know, I always offer the pilots a ride if they want. I want them to see the conditions for themselves and make that decision. I want people to be safe, and I want to be able to be a part to make that runway as safe as possible.
Where can somebody find you? You can go on Facebook under Fly Hayes, but if they want to talk to you about the airport, talk to you about learning to fly, where do they find you?
My door is open at the airport. It says Airport Manager's Office. Come on by, and you know, if you want to know more about the airport, I'm always willing to talk shop. It's one of my, so my wife, whenever we go on vacation, we always have to visit airports, and she's to the point that she's kind of just kind of gotten used to it.
Seen one airport, seen it all, she says, right?
To me, they're not the same, but she thinks they are. Yeah.
Well,
so you know, just come by and talk shop.
It's good to have you here, and it's good to have somebody with your passion that wants to be a part and grow the airport here and continue to do that. So good to have you on our program, and good to have you here in Hayes.
Well, thank you very much.
Nathan Marcucci has been our guest here. He's the new manager at the Hayes Regional Airport. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communication. Our community connected.
Youthful body, tight tummy, smooth facial lines. Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery is here to help you achieve your goals and give yourself the new look you've always wanted. Greystone offers sophisticated surgical and non-surgical cosmetic procedures. With services now available locally, there's no need to wait any longer. Contact Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery at Hayes Medical Center today or online at greystonecosmetic.hayesmed.com.